I was on mute. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. This is the First 15 Accountability Party with me, Melinda B. Powers. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. It's another week of not enough sleep, but that's okay. We still made it. So if you're here with me, hi. If you're watching the recording, hi. We are here to provide accountability and create a sense of community around that, but not in a way where we're flagging and shaming, but just giving each other a little grace, but also giving us room to celebrate small wins, to discuss what's going on, and to set goals. So, thank you for being with me today. There's been so much going on. I've really been going through a lot of changes, a lot of thinking, reflection the last couple weeks, and I just feel very alive. And so, what I want to talk about as far as last week, so let's talk about these wins, right? Let me get myself together. There we go. So let's talk about our wins from last week, and I'll start per usual. So my win actually happened last night. I did my first email marketing campaign. It wasn't fancy, but it was my first time using email to talk about my business, which is funny because this is not my first time doing this. I, in the past, have been much more of a face to face, direct networker. And this time around, that didn't feel right for me and what I was doing. So I have not been doing that as much. Not intentionally, as far as like going to several events. I've been staying in certain circles, and it just felt like the right time. And I was pushed from a lot of different directions. I've been listening to some other coaches and consultants and creators, and just observing what's been successful for them, and being honest in that I haven't taken those particular leaps. So it was very scary, but I did it anyway. I worked through the fear, and I feel so free. I feel, you know, not indestructible, but I just feel very proud of myself for pushing through that. And I think it's going to be a good thing. It's definitely going to expose a lot of people to my business that weren't aware otherwise. And that's partially because I wasn't broadcasting it all over. I had been a little quiet on the marketing side as I was getting things a little bit more together. And so now that I'm, confident about my offer, and I've offered it a few times, I'm ready to test the waters with the wider market. And I did get some positive feedback pretty quickly. So I'm happy about that. And I'm looking forward to more. So I will share that offer on my online platform. So be looking for that later on today. And please, if you're interested, reach out. There's a limited number of businesses that I can take on right now because of capacity. So just be aware that if you're interested, you need to jump on it because it's a limited time, as they say. But I really am looking forward to helping more businesses handle their business, right? As you know, business process consulting is where I've landed. I was a bit more of a generalist before, but we all have to niche down in some way to be more successful and to hit our target market. And this is where I've landed because I noticed that regardless if you've been in business for a short amount of time or longer, this is one of the typical areas that businesses struggle with. And even read Traction, and he even talked about how this is some of the biggest struggle points is the processes. And if you want to scale and you want to franchise or you want to sell or you want to have multiple locations, you got to have this stuff solid if you want to be efficient. Now you could struggle through it and it'd be clunky. That's totally a choice, but to do it more streamlined so that you can scale and increase capacity exponentially, you need some predictability and some consistency there. So that's my jam. That's always where I end up focusing the most. even when I was a generalist, is how can we make this more efficient? How can we get this working like a well-oiled machine? And that's not always a small business owner's main concern. So I'm happy to bring that to the table and to help people who that may not be their natural bent or what they automatically see as an issue. But I know for certain when those issues are addressed, it changes the whole trajectory of the business. So definitely reach out to me if that sounds interesting to you. Like I said, I'm going to post the offer on my social media platform. So look for those later on today, and I'm happy to share. So I'm going to move on to the pep talk. So the funny thing about all of this sleep deprivation I've been experiencing is that I have not been regular with the blog. So that's me being transparent with you guys. I've been stretched a little thin. On top of, I just started teaching an undergraduate business course last week. That is taking a lot more time than I would normally have. We normally have that as free time. It's not free anymore. So things are stretched a little thin, but I'm adjusting, and the blog will be back. It may be back in a different form, but it's about also making things more efficient for me as well. So be looking for some changes there. But I really just want to talk about new things. So, and I've talked about this on the blog before, just about like going outside of your comfort zone. The comfort zone, that's where, your innovation and creativity dies. You don't want to get stuck there. And so I'm always encouraging you to try new things, think of ways you can innovate or do something a little bit daring. And it's not guaranteed to work, nothing is. But if you never try anything new, you'll never get any new results. And that was one of the conclusions I reached when I decided to do the email. It's just that I've never done it before. I know it works very well for other businesses. Why am I not doing this? And if I want to see something different happen, then I've got to try something new. And that was a big motivator for me. And it felt good. um, just a little bit of feedback that I've gotten in the last few hours, because it just went out at 6 a.m. It's been great. So I am much more inclined to continue using email and maximizing my use of email. I feel a little like late because I know that's a very common means of marketing for a lot of small business, but better late than never. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Um, it just is what it is. I think with the law firm, it was a lot harder because there's this line between sales and solicitation that you can't cross with the bar. So I think that was just not something I was automatically going to do. And then with the desserts, that was a very new thing for me. That was my first foray. So it's not like I had all these great opportunities that I just blew. This is a new business. This is a new time. This is a new way of thinking for me. So I am more than happy to embrace that newness and to see, what exists here. And I see a lot of women, especially, having great success in their consulting and coaching businesses. And I want to do the same. I definitely believe that I deserve that. And, there were also some mental blockages I had to get over. I do my affirmations every morning. And in the beginning, it's weird because you feel like you're lying for things that haven't happened yet. But if you keep at it, you start to really internalize it. And I say my affirmations in the mirror. I look myself in the eye and I say these things to myself. And it's a very reaffirming, it's comforting too, because I know I am betting on myself. And that's the best you can do, is to bet on yourself. If you're not betting on yourself, I highly recommend it. There's nothing like it, and it can really transform your thinking and how you move, how you carry yourself. I really do think self-love is something that we are desperately missing in the society as a whole, which is why I talked about this before on the platform. I created a digital course on self-love. Even though my business is business oriented, businesses are made up of people. That does not change. So any issues that people have, you're going to see in a business. It's there. So definitely want to encourage folks to always be working on personal development. Personal development is professional development. That is my motto. And I don't think you can ever do too much of that. because there's always something we can work on. I know myself, I'm constantly figuring out what I can tweak and adjust and build, what skills I can build, and what new thing can I learn. There's always something. So never discount personal development in your professional journey. All right, as I always say, this comes so fast. This 15 minutes is really quick, and I'm really happy to be here to provide this. However, we are going to make some adjustments. I've been threatening that for some weeks now, but I'm coming to the conclusion that I would like for this group to be private. I think the public aspect is cool, but there are some things I want to discuss that I just don't think make sense for a public and free call. So I'm going to be working on that offering this week so that by next week it'll be out and we can shift gears. I really do value this space, but I want it to grow, and I want it to be, I want people to feel more comfortable sharing, and I don't feel like everyone can do that in a public space like this. So, and there's also some things I probably don't want to always share publicly, but I would feel very open to sharing privately. So that those changes are going to be coming. But as far as the me time, if you're new here, me time, MII, stands for most impactful item. This is our goal setting portion of the call. And I always encourage, even in like when you have a meeting with an organization, there should be some next steps involved. You should never walk away from a meeting with nothing. So the me time is what I intend to do and what you intend to do this week that we're in, that you can report back next Monday as a win. That's the idea, is just to keep the wins going, whether they're small or large. They don't have to be all monumental. Anything you do is momentum in the right direction, is movement forward. So for me, my me time this week, that's a good question. There's so much happening. But I know I've been putting off something for, it's been a few months, I think, at this point. I was on a roll and I kind of got sidetracked. So I want to make sure I get this done before quarter four starts. So I'm definitely going to finish my Green Belt Six Sigma certification test. I've been sitting with, it's just there. I haven't finished. So I need to finish that so that I can call that done, because it's basically done. I just haven't done those last few things to tie that up with a bow. And I really want to focus on using that credential in my business process work. So I think I can get that done on the weekend. That would be another challenge. But I definitely think it's possible. It's not outside the realm of possibilities for me at all. And I think it's just time for me to push myself to finish it, because it's just kind of lingering there because I haven't been forcing myself. I've been working on so many other things. So now that things are falling into place a little more and I'm getting, some traction and some movement and things are a little more in order, I think I can go ahead and pull this off before we get into fall. But that's going to be my me time, is the Green Belt Six Sigma certification. We should have that by next Monday. Aside from that, I hope that everyone within the sound of my voice is able to glean something positive from this call. The time that we've been public, I hope it's been helpful for you. I know there are some faithful watchers every week. I see you guys checking it out. So thank you so much for your support. However, we are probably going to be moving that behind a paywall in the coming week or two. And that's simply because I have a desire to form more of a private community. There are tons of other content creators out there that I see that have really robust private communities. And that's something I really want for this space, because I don't see it much for this type of material, this topic necessarily. It's more for social things, social groups. And I think that accountability and professionalism can all be under that umbrella too. And it doesn't have to be boring. It can be interesting and fun. So that's what I'm endeavoring to do with that, with including book studies and different talks and tips and tricks and discussions. So I really want to encourage that. So if you're interested in joining, just keep a lookout for that information. It'll be coming soon. But that's it. That's our time. I appreciate you all for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye.